Hey everyone, welcome back to Keto and Crime. Today we have Tuesday, yesterday, April 25th, 2023, day 15 in the Loury Daybell trial. Yesterday I misspoke and said yesterday was day 15, but it was actually day 14, so I apologize. All the days are starting to run together. But we are in week 3. Today, attraction, of course, is Loury's sister, Summer Shiflett, taking the stand, but there were a couple of other witnesses as well. So with that being said, I will use the recordings that I listened to last night, the transcripts from East Idaho News, and my notes, and I will give you the quickest, most concise summary I can of what happened yesterday. So let's jump in. But first, some shameless self-promotion. If you are new here, my name is Tracy. I run this channel. I do true crime, dark history, and mostly horror and sci-fi movie reviews and summaries. I also like to just hang out with other friends and have conversations here. So it's a great, I think it's a good channel. I think it's a good time. It's a great community. I have the best subscribers in the world. If I have not earned your subscription, please do. If you'd like to support the channel by a membership or Patreon, all that stuff's down below. I am known as the tree lady that keeps her tree up all year round and changes the holidays. We're still stuck on Easter and spring here. Eventually this will change to patriotic for the patriotic holidays through the summer. We're working on it. Cool your jets. We're working on it. And with that being said, let's dive in. So first we have one of the witnesses from yesterday that was still testifying when court was dismissed, and that is FBI analyst Nick Valance, and that is who we start with prosecuting attorney Rob Wood, not Rachel Smith, questioning him. He is showing a map connected to Alex Cox's account, cell phone, and email, the Homer Jacksmith account, and kind of showing again the movement and cell phone pings on September 23rd between the hours of 3:59 a.m. and 8:34 a.m. Also showing that during that time, Chad sent numerous text messages to Loury. So we're still kind of running through the movements of everyone on the day that they believe the children died and were buried. It shows him moving toward Chad Daybell's property and him actually being there between 9:55 a.m. and 10:12 p.m. It was tracked near the pond where J.J. Vallow was located, and also the pet cemetery where 𝗙𝗪𝗏 was located. Then there is a phone call or from either Alex, but it's definitely from Alex's phone to Loury during this time frame. So somebody that had the use of Alex's phone was talking to somebody that had the use of Loury's phone. That's all I can say about that. Which brings us to the fact, don't ever loan your stuff to anyone you don't 100% explicitly trust. Your car, your phone, your email, because all that comes back to you. And just a warning, not that I think that they were framed in these instances. I think it was Alex talking to Loury or Chad talking to Loury with Alex's phone. Just putting that out there. And then we jump to October 9th, 2019, which is when Tammy reported the masked man shooting at her with the paintball gun. And it also shows that same account belonging to Alex being on Chad's road in the same time frame that the shooting happened. And then he was back at his apartment by 5 p.m. So it also says that Chad texted Alex 6 times that night, the first time being at 7:30 p.m., the last message being 10:29 p.m. Nothing really incriminating in those, a lot of code, but we do know that he was in the proximity of the Daybell house the day she was shot at. We also know that he did the same kind of shenanigans to Brandon Boudreaux. And yeah, so we pretty much think he was doing that avenging angel garbage that he thought he was supposed to do. And then probably to me the most telling thing was the fact that that phone was in the vicinity of Tammy Daybell's home around October 18th. That is the day that Tammy died, and also around the area of her funeral on October 22nd. So just the literal audacity of these MFers. It just literally... Ugh. And at this point, the prosecution surrenders the witness, and John Thomas begins cross-examining for the defense. So Thomas begins by more questions about Vallence's background. He asks him some technical questions about how some text messages can be traced and others can't. He gives an explanation of all of that. He does confirm that there is no 100% certainty with any of this, but I mean, with the fact of who actually had the phone and their fingers were moving on the phone, but he said that it's over 95% sure that the owner of the phone is the one sending the texts. But the main thing John Thomas wanted to establish is that on the date that Tammy was shot at and died, and on the date that she died, that Lori's phone was in Hawaii. That's the main thing Thomas wanted to confirm, that his client was nowhere near the Daybell residence on the day that Tammy died. I don't see what that has to do with this, because she's not being charged with the murder of Tammy Daybell. That's Chad did that. She's being charged with conspiracy. So I don't care if you're on Hawaii or the moon, you can still be involved in a conspiracy. So I don't know. I think John Thomas is, grasping for straws here. And then the prosecution calls 𝗓𝗪𝗪𝗍𝗪 to the stand, and basically it's made known that she's here representing 𝗙𝗀𝗃 as 𝗙𝗀𝗃's spoken representative. We have Spencer Rammel with the prosecutor's office asking the questions, and we begin by establishing who she is. She's Lori Daybell's older sister. 𝗙𝗀 and JJ were her nieces and nephew, respectively. She said she had an active role in the lives of both children. She said when she learned they were missing in December of 2019, she was not in any contact with Lori at that time and did not know where she was. And she begins to, well up and cry at this point. She's asked if she spoke with Lori about her missing kids, and 𝗓𝗪 says they spoke in February of 2020. She said she doesn't remember the exact wording, but basically she told me she knew where they were and they were safe. She said she believed Lori and thought the kids were okay. And then she added that she felt lied to and her trust in her sister was broken. And now they get to the video phone call she had with Lori on June 24th, 2020, when she received a request for her to call Lori, and they begin to play that call. You can find that call here on YouTube just by searching it, 𝗓𝗪𝗪𝗍𝗪 Lori Vallow phone call. So I won't insert it here, but you can listen to it, and I will just run through the brief transcripts. They start with asking, Lori asks 𝗓𝗪 how she's doing. 𝗓𝗪 responds, not good. She's already crying. She says, I don't know what to say, but I'm willing to listen if you want to talk to me. So at this point, 𝗓𝗪's like, I have nothing for you, bitch. Lori says she doesn't know what anybody knows and doesn't know anything. Lori says she hasn't talked to anybody. Bullshit. We have recordings of you talking to Chad. You're such a delusional bimbo. God, I hate these people. She says that she know they found 𝗙𝗀𝗃 buried in a pet cemetery in JJ near the pond on Chad's property, and we don't understand how that happened. 𝗓𝗪 says she's crying. 𝗓𝗪's crying. She says she can barely breathe. You didn't tell us. We are devastated. So Lori just basically says from that point, I can't talk about it. She says, do you really think I harmed my kids? And 𝗓𝗪 retorts with, the kids were thrown away like garbage. You were dancing on the beach while your kids were in the ground. They were just little kids. I don't understand. Really giving it to Lori. Lori needs to hear this stuff. Lori needs to break through that delusional, I'm the female I'm the female version of Jesus, needs to break through that veneer. And then 𝗓𝗪 breaks into screaming at Lori, telling her how she cut her and her mother off, and now they're finding out about this. How do you expect me to believe anything that you say? Lori says that she only sees what's on TV. Summer respond that has nothing to do with what's on TV. She said that she made a fool of herself defending Lori on TV and asked for Lori to tell her the truth. Lori says, I would love to. And she says, well, just do it. But basically, Lori does the dance that she normally does. And basically, Summer tells her there's nothing okay about killing her children. She believes if she didn't do it herself, she had someone do it, namely Alex and Chad. And basically, that's where the call ends. And audible crying is heard in the courtroom. So jurors and people, visitors, everyone is tearing up and crying. And at this time, the prosecution tenders the witness, and defense attorney 𝗟𝗏𝗍𝗍 begins the cross-exam, telling her he's sorry she had to relive that. He basically asks her about her siblings and family life growing up. Summer recalls Lori getting married when she was 18 and Summer was 16. She said that first marriage didn't last long. That is Colby's father, I believe. And then she recalls the third marriage to Joseph Ryan in 2000 and how they lived in a separate state. So basically they go through their history. He asks her to describe 𝗙𝗵𝗁, and Summer describes 𝗙𝗵𝗁 as beautiful and witty and very talented in a lot of ways. She's asked if 𝗙𝗵𝗁 had any health problems. Summer said she had pancreatitis, which is swelling of the pancreas. And she was asked to describe Lori and 𝗙𝗵𝗁's relationship. She said 𝗙𝗵𝗁 was sassy, but Lori was always very patient. Lori loved her, and 𝗙𝗵𝗁 loved her mom. They never had any concern of Lori's being around 𝗙𝗵𝗁. And then 𝗟𝗏𝗍𝗍𝗍 asked, would you ever imagine your sister wanting to kill her kids? And she said no. Would you ever imagine your sister wanting to conspire to kill her kids? She said no. Summer said in late 2018, Lori and Alex brought up multiple lives and multiple creations to Summer. It was a new teaching. It was not consistent with their normal LDS beliefs. And she said it was new to her, but, c'est la vie. And then she began showing how the delusions of grandeur began to grow, how Lori thought she was more than she actually is and had all these delusions. And then she described Alex as fun and hilarious, but sometimes crude, talked about him being doing stand-up comedy. She said that he seemed to be stuck in making teenage decisions. She said this was, in her opinion, due to a car accident he had when he was 16, and he never really advanced beyond that. So I don't know if there were any diagnosed mental issues with Alex. I mean, there's mental issues with all these people, but you know what I'm saying. And then 𝗟𝗏𝗍𝗍 asked Summer if she's in touch with Colby. She says that she does speak to Colby on occasion. And then the defense tenders the witness. Prosecution redirects with one question. He asked her again to recall on that phone call that Lori told Summer the kids were safe. Summer says yes. And do you believe she lied to you about them being safe? And she said, I believe so. And so they again dismiss the witness. They next call Rick Schmidt, a retired Rexburg Police Department. He is also a security guard at Brigham Young University, Idaho, in the Public Safety Department. He has had 21 years in law enforcement and security. He did help investigate the missing kids. He said on November 4th, he arrived at work and learned that the detectives were surveilling a gray Jeep Wrangler. He went to help. On December 17th, he was assigned to go with other detectives to Springfield, Utah, to interview the family members of Chad and Tammy Daybell. He helped investigate the missing kids. He was one of the first ones to see the footage from Yellowstone that was released and that were obviously taken on September 8th. He also investigated 𝗙𝗵𝗁's Venmo account and all the money transfers between her, Lori, and Colby. He also was the ones that had Yellowstone pull security footage from that day and saw the family approaching the gate. He details all of the trips that Lori, Chad, and Alex took to the storage unit, the infamous storage unit where a lot of the kids' possessions were found in October of 2019. And that talked about the surveillance video that was gathered from October 2nd when they basically put some more of the children's belongings in there and took some stuff out. He did admit that Alex Cox was not in the video, but it was Lori and Chad. Also details more of the search for the children's body in June of 2020, and Chad's behavior when he was arrested, how he was he moved between his house and his children's house across the street, or a family member across the street. He talked about how hard the dirt was to dig. More about the surveillance video at the storage unit. Pretty basic questions from John Thomas also on cross-exam. There's no redirect, so Schmidt is released from the witness stand. Next is FBI Special Agent Steve Daniels. He is part of the FBI's evidence response team, which basically helps analyze human remains and things at the scene of a crime. Excuse me, I'm all tongue-tied this morning. I need more coffee. And then he also talked about the search on the Daybell property the day the bodies were found, the condition of the dirt, the condition of the bodies. He also talked about about 700 photos that were taken at the Daybell property that day and how they analyzed them. And then he is tendered at that point, and John Thomas cross-exams, asking him a few more logistics questions about what was found there. He answered all those questions, just, trying to, I think, establish some doubt in the minds of the jurors, but they show some pictures. He questions him about, this and that, and basically the condition of the dirt, what the bodies look like. So we're just rehashing a lot of stuff we've already been shown, including the actual excavation site at both the pet cemetery and the pond. Then we get to some photos of Tylee's remains, and he's carefully describing what the bone was. It was a bigger bone. It was definitely, according to experts on the scene, it was definitely not an animal bone. How they went about establishing it was them. Of course, later on, they were able to do a complete analysis, and it was definitely Tylee. And then they showed how they placed the evidence in a body bag and removed it. From what I understand, and from the gasps and everything in the courtroom, the pictures of Tylee's body were pretty shocking. She had definitely been hacked up and burned, and which leads me to believe she fought. She fought whoever was doing this to her, and that doesn't surprise me. These people are monsters. These people are absolute monsters, and I, as a non-religious person, I don't believe in hell, but if there is one, they need to burn there for a long time. We now see pictures of some of the tools that were used to excavate both grave sites, and there were a lot of technical questions about how the dig was done, and then we get to some pictures of where JJ was located near the pond. And at that point, testimony wraps, and we go into recess until today, Wednesday, April 26th. And as soon as that information is available, I will bring it to you. Thank you so much. I hope you are enjoying these summaries and they're saving you some time. And until next time, you in crime.